And we're back with another edition of Huge Pop Wrestling presents Huge Pop Sports Football Friday. It's me, it's that M-A-T, and riding with me as always on a Friday, beautiful Friday afternoon, it's
Absolutely.
my brother Scotty.
What's up, guys?
It's been a minute. I was sick last Friday, just couldn't muster coming on here and talk to y'all about the greatest sport on the planet, and that is football. So this week we got a lot of games. We got our 6 games that we normally pick, and the whole NFL docket. Next week, a little bit of programming information. Next week, we're going to be talking about football. Obviously, it's Football Friday. And on that date, November 15th, everybody, it's Tyson versus Jake Paul, everybody, on Netflix. That'll be on Netflix at 8 p.m. We're going to be previewing that and talking about what we feel the fight's going to look like. But how's everyone doing? What do you want to quote a great wrestler in Cody Rhodes? What do you want to talk about?
Crickets. Football.
So we're going to talk about football. So the ACC game of the week, or the game that we picked for, and we're going to pick this week, is Syracuse traveling to Virginia Tech to take on the Hokies. The 6-2, number 23 ranked Clemson Tigers traveling to take on the Hokies, and are 6-point favorites on the road.
Clemson on the road, huh?
3:30 p.m. on ESPN.
Vitek, huh?
The
I'm
Blackbirds.
gonna have to take Clemson. Something about the orange. You know, I got they have the program that's always there. I'm gonna say Clemson. I'm gonna say not very much, but I'm gonna say Clemson by a touchdown.
Smart money says Clemson. Like, that is for sure. Because they are the national pedigree at this point. They are the people who we expect to win the ACC year in and year out. Yeah. Except for this year, because the Miami Hurricanes are just absolutely running stuff in the ACC.
Right.
I wanna pick an upset here. I really do, because that's just how the season's been going. Because I mean, Vanderbilt has 2 upsets underneath their belt, but Vitek ain't Vanderbilt. That's for damn sure. I'm gonna go Clemson.
Yeah.
The next one's a sneaky game. The next one's a Big 12 matchup. Next one is you have at 4:00 on Fox. Colorado travels to Lubbock to take on Texas Tech. Both teams have 6 wins. Both teams are playing very good. Colorado is 4.5-point favorites to win that game. I know, 4.5 points isn't much.
Fun fact: Texas Tech allowed Albion Christian to put up 51 points on them. 41 points to Cincinnati and 59 points to Baylor this season. So they give up a lot of points for that young stud of a quarterback that Colorado has. I'm going to go Colorado by 2 touchdowns.
I think it's going to be a lot closer. I don't think I'm going to agree with you as far as Colorado. They're going to win, but I really don't think that it's going to be more than a 3 to 7. Okay. It's going to be a shootout for sure, because neither team plays defense.
No.
Neither team plays defense. It's like watching the Lakers and It's like watching the Western Conference in basketball for the NBA. No one plays defense. Everyone just jacks up threes and hopes they go in. But I think we're 2 for 2 on picks this week. Colorado, I think they're hitting their stride. This might be if they can't make the playoffs, which at 2 losses, it's going to be damn hard to make a playoff, especially when you have two loss Bama team. And we'll get into that too here in a little bit. Look at the college football playoffs. But yeah, Colorado wins by 7. I don't think they win by more than 7. But whoever has the ball last is going to win that ball game.
Yeah.
Next up, we travel to the Big Ten to to have our first of 2 Big Ten games. In that game, actually, I had assistants picking that game. Andrew wanted me to have us pick this game for whatever reason. 6-3 Minnesota. Is that who? Yeah.
Yep.
6-3 Minnesota travels to Rutgers, and I think the reason he picked that game is because it's the closest spread out of all of them. 5.5 points. Minnesota has 5.5 points going, and that game's at high noon on NBC, nationally broadcasted.
Yeah, that's probably good. That's gonna be a good game, I would say. But from what I'm just watching college football on a weekend, for me over the last 8 weeks, I'm gonna say Minnesota. Minnesota. They've been looking good. They've been hanging with some people, so I'm gonna say Minnesota, not by much.
Not so fast, my friend, as Lee Corso would say. I like Rutgers a lot. That team they're one, like the games that they played. They're better than that 4-4 record. The losses they took they beat Washington.
Sure.
They barely lost to Nebraska. Nebraska's pretty solid. Wisconsin beat the brakes off of them. That Wisconsin team's pretty good. UCLA barely beat them, and USC beat them. So I think out of those losses, they only really got whooped once by Wisconsin. I'm going to go Rutgers at home. I think they win by a score. I think they win by 6. They might win by 2 field goals, but I think they win. I really like their coach. And I think that they have what it takes to beat a very good Minnesota team.
Yeah.
Next on the schedule, we have the Mountain West. This has got to be one of the funkiest conferences in the nation. We have San Jose State traveling to Oregon State. San Jose State's 5-3, and Oregon State's 4-4. Oregon State as a 3-point favorite.
Really? Yeah, I don't know much about San Jose State. I like watching Oregon State. I think I like it because I like their colors. Isn't that stupid? But don't watch much Mountain West Conference. Oregon State will cover that spread for sure. Yeah. Easy.
I'm going to go Oregon State as well. San Jose State might have a better record, but I think overall, I think Oregon State is still trying to find their identity, just like Rutgers. I think they're still trying to find their way, and they need to win 2 of the next 3 to become bowl eligible. So I think Oregon State gets it done at home. And by the way, if you want to watch that game, that is at 3:30 on the CW.
Really?
Next up, we have one of two SEC schools or SEC games we're going to be picking. This is the SEC pick of the week. And that game is Alabama, number 11 Alabama, travels to take on LSU in Death Valley. 7:30 p.m. on ABC/ESPN. Bama is 2.5-point favorites on the road. That should be a dogfight. What says you?
Okay, so here you are. Alabama has been getting some slow starts. Alabama's not in. They're playing in LSU. They're playing away. When you play at LSU, you better be ready. I don't think Alabama's ready. I say LSU by 10 points.
Wow.
Yep. Go Tiger. Go LSU.
LSU at home. They're both 6-2. Primetime game.
Yep.
Very tempting to take a home team on that stage. Very tempting. I don't like LSU's coach.
Okay.
There's a long laundry list of reasons why I hate that guy. Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly left us here at CMU. All right, whatever. You weren't going to lead us to a national championship, whatever. It is what it is. You go to Cincinnati, you get them going. You're like, yeah, Cincinnati. I'm Brian Kelly. I'm bringing you guys to promised land. Then you bail out. Okay, cool. You go to Notre Dame, one of the most prestigious colleges in the universe, in all of college football. You don't win a national championship, and you bail for a sack of cash. And you don't even hold a players meeting to explain why you're leaving. You just leave. So that's enough for me to say, Roll Tide. Let's get it done. Roll Tide. They win by at least 6 points. At least 6 points.
No way.
The next game feels so weird. It just feels weird, this next game. A 5-4 Michigan team travels to Bloomington to take on a very, very nasty IU team. And it's weird solely because Michigan, our boys from Ann Arbor, are 14.5-point dogs. We are underdogs by 14.5.
Wow.
That game is 3:30 on CBS, 2:30 Eastern or Central Time. What I'm about to say, part of me dies in this situation. I don't think we win that ball game. I think IU puts up 21. I think they beat us by 21. I've watched the last few IU games, and they just look like they could beat anybody in the Big Ten right now, today. They could hang with Oregon. They could hang with Ohio State. They could beat Penn State because Penn State got exposed last week for who they really are. Give me Indiana. I as much as I want, as much. If I'm picking based on trying to get the pick correct, I have to pick Indiana.
Don't get this misconstrued, because don't get this twisted. I am a Michigan fan. And I'll be a Michigan fan even how crappy they're doing this year. This year reminds me a lot above the 2 years before McCarthy was there, or a few years back, and we struggle hugely in the quarterback position, ginormously in the quarterback position. Our quarterback, I'm going to say it, our quarterbacks suck. We're so fucking predictable. We're so predictable with the quarterbacks. When Orgy comes in, who's going to get the ball? It's going to be him. He's going to run it to the right or to the left. We had that guy that was shoelaces. We knew, right? The other teams knew. There's Michigan this year. Michigan is so easy to prepare for that Indiana shouldn't have a problem wasting them by 21 points. I agree, Matt. 21 points is a fair number for them to beat us by. Indiana should beat us badly. With that said, yes, my pick is going to be Indiana. There's just no way in heck Michigan, where they're at in their resetting process, Michigan is going to get their butts kicked, unless, and I don't see this. I really don't. Texas went on a run, and everybody thought Texas was going to be a great team. They are, but they got exposed because But they haven't played anybody. I can't say that about Indiana. Indiana's played people, and they beat people bad. They got a hell of a wide receiver core, hell of running backs. Defense is ferocious, and they got a quarterback. So I'm going to say I agree with Matt. 21 points. That's probably going easy. Michigan's not going to win. Indiana all the way, all day long. It's not even be fun. I don't even want to watch it.
And that's the first time ever on this show that both of us picked against our boys from Ann Arbor. I'm going to make that perfectly clear.
Don't get misunderstood. I'm a Michigan fan. It hates me. It burns me to say they're not going to win, but I'm not going to be stupid on that pick. I mean, come on.
Next game is, in my opinion, the game of the week. The Georgia Bulldogs traveling to Ole Miss to take on the Rebels. Georgia is 2.5-point favorites to win on the road. 2.5. That game is on at 3:30 on ABC/ESPN. And so what do you got on this one?
Oh, so Ole Miss might be missing their wide receiver Trey Harris and running back Henry Parrish. They don't know yet. On that hand, but on the other hand, Carson Beck finally looked like Carson Beck last week. He hasn't been looking like Carson Beck of the old. It's going to be a great game. And I'm going to sing the song that I was anticipating my brother's going to sing, but I'm going to sing it with a little twist. Who's not running down the track? The team of the Georgia, whatever, they lose. Georgia loses. They're not running down the track. They're going to get steamrolled by 10. You go ahead and sing your fucking song.
Who's that coming down the track? The mean machine with the red and black. Give me the Dogs. The Dogs every day, all day. They are the best team in the nation.
No.
They are who they to quote Denny Green, they are who we thought they were. They will They are a scary, scary team. Carson Beck is a scary, scary individual. And the dogs all day.
No. It's going to be exposed.
So, 2024 college football playoff bracket. We're going to talk about that for a few minutes. Take a look at the projections. Where are they? Hold on, I saved it to my phone. So there's 12 teams that make the playoffs. And currently the 12 are, as of November 5th, so 3 days ago this was released. This would be the opening round of the playoffs. Number 12, Boise State will play the Buckeyes from Ohio State in the first round. Number 11, a 2-loss Alabama team will play Texas in the first round of the playoffs. The number 10, Notre Dame Fighting Irish will take on the Penn State Nittany Lions. This next one is game of the week all day long. Number 9, Indiana plays number 8 in Tennessee. That's a banger of a. That's a hell of a. Lot of offense in that.
Yep.
So, but you have your top 4 teams. Are number 4, BYU. They are the winners. They are the current leader of the Big 12. Number 3, the current leader of the ACC, the University of Miami Hurricanes. Number 2, the SEC leader, Georgia. And number 1 is the Big 10 leader as Oregon.
Yep.
That's what we have for this week. That's going into this week. That's what the playoffs look like coming into this week.
I don't think I can argue any of that.
The only one that I would argue is the Boise State one.
Maybe.
Only because a team like Army, they're 8-0 and nowhere near the playoffs.
No.
That's where I don't like multiple lost teams being in the playoffs. I just don't.
Yeah, you got Alabama with 2 losses.
I mean, they're 11th.
Yeah.
But it's because they're Bama.
Yep.
It's all because they're Bama.
They'll always be there. Face the facts.
That's our that's college football for the week. If you have any guys, if you're listening to this and you have any games that you want us to pick going forward, like in the next couple weeks, if you have our stuff, drop them in the comments. Let us know what you want us to pick, what game. If you look ahead in your favorite team's schedule and you want us to pick a game, then we'll pick it. We'll give you a shout out. We'll do that whole thing. But that's it. You know, just something fun I want to try to do. If you have a game that you want us to pick, throw it in there and we'll try to get to it. So now we got the NFL. And this, as you can tell, I'm really excited for. We have the Munich game at 9:30 in the morning on Sunday. So on my birthday, I get to watch football from 9:30 in the morning until whenever my wife tells me to get the hell off the TV. We got the Giants, the 2-7 Giants traveling to. They're both in Germany, so 2-7 Giants against the 2-7 Panthers.
You're watching that game?
No. I got better things to do with my life than to watch the Giants and Panthers.
Let's flip a coin, or as we would say in wrestling world, this is the game you go get your snacks and your beer and your whatever you got to get, because this is the snack break.
The Giants are favored by 6.5. I mean, my youth football team would be favored by 14.5 because, you know.
Why not? Let's go Giants by 7.
Yeah, Giants.
I mean,
this is the last thing that Germany. This is the last time that us as Americans get to punish Germany for World War II, because this is a clunker. This is bad.
This is horrible.
At 1:00, the early game. We have we're just going to get this one out of the way. We got the Broncos traveling to Kansas City. 7.5-point favorite, Kansas City. I mean, you know who I'm picking.
Yep. Okay. I mean, you picked the Chiefs. We get that. One of these weeks, somebody's going to finish the job and beat these punks from Kansas City. They barely escaped last week. Shouldn't have won last week. Matt better agree with that. They look awful, but they won. Why? Because they're that good. I can't pick against them. I really can't. I want them to get their ass beat. I want them to lose. I want them to not get fucking lucky like they did last week. And no. I'm going to go Broncos, damn it.
Now, I'm going to explain to you, and I say this to our producer, our backstage guy, Cody, all the time, because he doesn't understand what, and he knows that. He knows this is coming right now. Great teams find ways to win. They might look like hot garbage, but they find ways to win. That's all. I'm just going to leave that out there. Great teams find ways to win, and they might not, and they put themselves in a position to win. That's all it is. They don't have to win by 30+ points a game like our boys from Detroit. They don't have to do that. They just have to hang around long enough to win. And that great teams do that. Those Patriots that we all hated did that.
Yep.
They didn't blow everyone out.
Nope. They hung around.
They just hang around, and then the greatest quarterback in the league goes out and he makes plays at the end of the game.
I'm not going to say I can't deny it. Well, I think Detroit's quarterback's a lot better, a little bit better than that quarterback, but that's my opinion.
The next 1:00 game we got is the Steelers taking on the Commanders, two very good teams this year. Yeah. The Steelers playing very well. Commanders with Jaden Daniels playing very good. We have Washington, a 2.5-point favorite in that game at home.
Yeah, that Washington team, man, they're looking pretty good. I'm gonna pick them by a field goal. They look pretty tough. So yeah, I'm gonna go by a field goal.
I'm gonna go Steelers. The Steelers are starting to Russ. I think Russ plays. Or does Russ start this week, or is Justin Fields under center?
I think Russell is. I think.
Okay, so Russ starts at center or at quarterback. He's starting to hit his stride. He's starting to look like Russell Wilson from like Seattle. I just think that with these new weapons that he has and just the way the defense is starting to gel, that's a hot team. I'm going to go Steelers. I think Steelers win.
All right.
Next up, we have on Fox at 1 p.m., The Vikings travel to Jacksonville. 6-2 versus 2-7. Vikings are only 6.5 points favorites. This is where Vegas is just like, it blows my mind how they're not more than 6.5 points. That Minnesota team is good. That team's the only team that honestly is the only team in the NFC North that scares me when it comes to the Detroit Lions. Because quite honestly, the Packers don't scare me, and the Bears sure as shit don't scare me. So yeah, I'm gonna go Vikings win by. They win by 50. They win by close to 21. I think they win between 2 to 3 scores. Jacksonville ain't nothing. Hey Nick. Hey Shad Khan. You might want to consider selling them and AEW later on.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence, man, I am sorry, but you're gonna have a hell of a rough weekend. I agree. Matt made a statement that this team is the only danger that I see for Detroit, and it's because of that defense. You know, they took Detroit. They gave Detroit everything they had. There's no way that Jacksonville will win this game. I agree, by at least 2 touchdowns. Yeah.
Next up, we have an NFC South battle. We have a 6-3 Falcons traveling to New Orleans to take on the Saints. And again, Vegas, what is this? What? I don't get this. Atlanta is only 3.5 point favorites going into that game. I get it, they're on the road, but 6-3 versus 2-7. Atlanta's playing very good under Kirk Cousins' watch. And I don't know. Who do you have in this one?
Where's that?
It's in Nolans.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to go. It's going to be in Orleans. Orleans going to pull it out by a field goal. It's going to be one of those last-second field goals.
So you're taking the Saints. You're taking the underdog. Okay.
Take the 8s.
I'm going to go Falcons. The Falcons are playing pretty solid football right now.
All right.
I think they cover the spread. I think they win by a field goal.
All right.
Next up, we have another 1 o'clock game. Again, 2 very equal teams, in my opinion. We have the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Tampa to take on the Bucs. From what I've been reading, Christian McCaffrey comes back this game. So that could be the beginning of something very dangerous in San Francisco. I'm going to take, and San Francisco's 6.5 point favorite. Give me the 49ers. I haven't been impressed with the way Baker Mayfield and Tampa's been playing lately. They're 4-5. They're below 500. They're not winning their division. And I just think that the 49ers are going to start upticking really quickly with McCaffrey back in the lineup.
That would be up until I heard McCaffrey's coming back, I would have picked the Bucs all day. But I mean, I've been impressed with the Bucs. I like Baker Mayfield, unlike my brother does. But with McCaffrey back and Juwan Jennings back, I think that again, come playoff time, if McCaffrey's still healthy for the 49ers, I hope that somebody beats him up before Detroit has to. I'm picking the 49ers this week, at least to cover, at least by 7.
Okay. Next up, we have a very intriguing matchup. We have the Buffalo Bills are 7-2, traveling to Indianapolis to take on the Colts that are 4-5. Buffalo is a 4-point favorite in that game. We know that you liked your Colts. Who do you got here? This is a 1 o'clock game on CBS.
Here the problem is Colts pass defense sucks. And yeah, that's pretty bad for them because the Bills are gonna wipe them clean. I'm gonna take the Bills. I have to.
I would love to see the Bills stumble just a little bit here, but it's not going to happen. With an old man, I think Joe Flacco is going to start at quarterback for the Colts. Old man River just doesn't get the job done, I don't think. And I think Josh Allen has himself a day, and I need him to have himself a day because he's on my fantasy league or on my fantasy team this week. So I need him to have a nice little 300 plus yard game and about 4 scores be great. But yeah, Bills win. They cover the spread. I think they win by 10 and maybe 14. Next up, we have the Patriots, the 2-7 Patriots traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears. Chicago's a 6-point favorite in that game.
I'm gonna root against the Patriots all day long, so I take the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears. The only thing that's going to beat the Bears in any game, including this one, I'm taking the Bears, but the only thing that's going to beat the Bears is their coaching staff. That Eberfuss or whatever the heck his name is, he is not an NFL head coach. He is not someone who I want on my sideline coaching the boys. The play calling is horrendous. It just that Chicago Bears team at the beginning of the season, I had made claim that they were the second best team in the conference or in the division, just based on what their roster looked like.
Right.
Now, but they're playing like a last place team, and it's all because of their coaching. Has nothing to do with their players. But right. The Bears play a very, 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 very bad Patriots team, and they're gonna win by at least 2 scores.
Right.
I think Caleb Williams has himself an amazing day.
Yeah.
Next up, we start the 4:00 hour. We have the Tennessee Titans at 2-6, traveling to LA to take on the Chargers. They're 5-3. Jim Harbaugh has that team fine-tuned, playing very good football in
the closet
in LA. And the Chargers are 7.5-point favorites.
Chargers and who?
Closet on.
Chargers, Titans.
Titans, huh? Yeah. Jim, it eventually we all knew that he'd have the Chargers running at what he wants. And they easy win by 7.
Yeah, I think there's no question that the Chargers win by at least 2 scores.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert's playing very good football.
Yeah.
He's probably in my top 7 quarterbacks in the league right now. He's very, very accurate, very, very consistent, and he just looked really good the last 3-4 weeks. And it's hard to pick against him at home against a Tennessee Titans team who they just look horrible.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Eagles, 6-2, traveling to Dallas to take on the Dallas Cowboys at 4:25 on CBS. Philly is a 7-point favorite. Fly, Eagles, fly, because I will never say how about them boys.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Sorry, Justin.
I mean, that team is in shambles. Let's talk about them for a few minutes. Everyone thought they were just going to light the world on fire, but that team is in shambles. Dak Prescott is arguably one of the most overrated and overhyped individuals in the game of football today. I don't know. He just doesn't compute when it comes to football for me. Next up, we have the last 4:25 game. We have the Jets at 3-6, traveling to Arizona, taking on the 5-4 Arizona Cardinals. The Jets are 1.5-point favorites. And let me just say this about the New Jersey Jets or New York Jets or whatever. Memo to the ownership or GM of the New York Jets. Release Aaron Rodgers tomorrow. He's not the guy you thought he was. He's a 40-year-old coming off of a ACL or MCL or whatever tear or Achilles. Yeah, he's a 40-year-old coming off an Achilles injury that can't do what he used to do.
Mm-hmm.
He's washed. He's done. Sorry, and you're not the New York Jets right now. You're the 90. You're like the 2017 Green Bay Packers, because you have all their players pretty much.
Yeah.
I got the Cardinals by a score. I think the Cardinals win because it's just that team. The Jets are just too beat. They're not a good football team.
Yeah, I have to agree, Matt. I have to take Kyle Murray and the running, and so I take the Jet. I take the Cardinals by 7.
Now, do we take the Sunday night game for last, or do we talk about it now?
Let me tell you what last. You want to do that Monday Night Football?
We'll fast forward to the Monday Night Football game. We got the Rams at 2-6, or the Dolphins 2-6, traveling to LA to take the Rams. The Rams are 1-point favorites in that game. I don't know if Tua's supposed to make his re-debut after, and like maybe his last debut, because he's going to get scrambled eggs because he's a moron. But I'm going the Rams because of the way the game last week or this past week on against Seattle. Matthew Stafford was unconscious, just absolute. He was Matt Stafford from when he was in Detroit.
Yeah,
and it was fun to watch him. He was having fun.
mm-hmm.
And he was slinging the ball around in overtime, and that last touchdown catch was amazing. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a great catch, and it's a great throw. But yeah, the Rams are just too much for the Finns, and
yeah, with Stafford and Cooper Kupp, there's no way the Dolphins are going to touch that.
Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, both healthy.
Yeah,
it's game over.
It's game over.
The last game on Sunday. Our boys from Detroit travel to Houston to take on the Texans. Detroit's a 4.5 favorite on the road. That is on at 8:30 or 8:20 on NBC/Peacock. Be there, watch good football, watch the Lions win. I think the way the Lions are playing right now, there's no team right now that we don't match up against.
Right.
We will out-physical people. We will just outplay you at every aspect of the game. Offensively, we have the most it's we have the most functionality, the most just the offensive production we have the last 6 weeks have just been crazy. More touchdowns than drops, more touchdowns than incompletions. It's been a very cerebral approach We have two of the best running backs in the league. Our defense is just ridiculous. We have the highest, we have the most points scored on offense and the most points scored on defense on the same team.
Yep.
And I've been keeping this bottled up and not wanting to say it out loud for lack of reason, for just because I didn't want to sound delusional or drinking that Honolulu Blue Kool-Aid. But we currently are the best team in the NFC and the second best team in the league. We're 1B behind by a very slim margin because they're undefeated and we're not. The Kansas City Chiefs. But I think if we lined up on a neutral field right now, we could beat Kansas City Chiefs. So I think Detroit goes in and wins by at least 2 scores against Houston on Sunday night. It's a nationally televised game. It's Dan Campbell saying, you know what, we're going to bite your kneecaps and you're going to love it. And we're going to move on and prepare for next week. Lions by 14.
First of all, what's the name of the guy from Cleveland? Is he playing this? Can he play this week with us?
I think L'Jarius Smith is, yes. I think
Okay.
he is.
With the new addition of L'Jarius Smith, without Nico Collins playing, sorry, Joe Mixon, you're gonna have a horrible day because you're not gonna get past the defensive line. They're gonna make you wish you weren't a running back. CJ Stroud, you're gonna wish you were not a quarterback. I get it. The Texans are good. They are. I'm not saying they're not. CJ Stroud's a beast. But when I say I'm on Rush Street or whatever, I'm on Brown, the 2 running backs, Gorf, the defensive line, dude. I hate to disagree with you, Matt, that undefeated Chiefs, they're number 2 in the league because Detroit's destroying people. Detroit should have won the game they lost. Detroit's going to win by 14. They are the best team in the NFL, hands down. Stephen A. Smith on ESPN said it. There's nobody that can touch that team, and I agree.
There is one thing that and again, I want to say that it took a little bit of courage for me to say that they're the best. They're the best in the NFC, and they're tied for number 1 in that with the Chiefs at the number 1 spot in the whole league. For everyone who's saying and brings this whole they're just as good as the 07 Patriots or the 99 Rams, the greatest show on turf. We got to slow down with that talk. Let's not be them. Let's be the 2024 Detroit Lions.
Right.
Let's put our own mark on history. Let's go out and win games, get to the Super Bowl, and make our mark. Right. Let's not try to be compared to them.
Right.
And I think that's what Dan Campbell's mentality is. And I love it.
Yep.
So that's our Football Friday for this week. Remember, we're going to do this whole thing again, but at the end of next week's episode, we're going to be kind of talking about the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight. And if you have any opinions on that, excuse me, throw them in the comments or whatever. Join us next Friday. We're going to be talking about that. And again, it feels good to be sitting back here in the chair again. I had to take last week off due to just not feeling good. I'm still, as you can probably tell, I've been sounding a little bit odd, but I want to say thank you to everyone that watched. We had, I think, 7 people in here at one time, which is really cool to see that on this Football Fridays because we don't typically see that.
Right.
But yeah, football Fridays are back until something stupid happens. We have an interview coming up next Friday next Friday night, right?
What's the interview? Friday night. Tell me who it is.
Is it Ahman Johnson?
Yes, that's right. That is right.
So a week from tonight, Scott and I will be sitting down with former
No, that's
WWF Intercontinental Champion.
2 weeks from tonight. The 22nd.
Okay, so 2 weeks from tonight on the 21st.
Second.
No,
22nd.
22nd. On the 22nd, we'll be talking to Ahman Johnson. So 2 weeks from 2 weeks from tonight, former Intercontinental Champion Ahman Johnson will be on the show to talk about everything WWE that he did and what he's doing now. And then a long-awaited interview will be coming up on the 27th of this month. So keep your eyes peeled. We'll talk a little bit more about that as the date rolls closer.
Yes, sir.
And don't forget to watch the boys on Tuesday night. Scott has a lot of fun with those three jokers. He's got Recreek over there, Nikki D, and of course Cody. They always make things interesting, and I always watch and yell at my television a little bit when I watch that show. But it's all good and fun. The boys do a good job over there on Tuesday, and then yeah, that's about it. That's all I got.
That's it.
So
guys, thank you guys for watching. Like Matt said, the 7 that were there, pop in and watch it. Watch our YouTube channel. Support the YouTube channel. Subscribe. Follow. That's all I can say.
And if you're around social media and you want to wish me a happy birthday on Sunday, you can go ahead and do that. Whatever. I know we're all busy,
Yeah.
but why is it doing that?
I don't. My calendar doesn't say you have a birthday. You're not on my calendar. Yeah, yeah. Sister Sledge does her best to put everybody's birthdays on the calendar, so I won't forget.
So again, guys, we love you all.
Yeah.
Have a great day,
Yes, sir.
and we'll see you next time.